Alright guys, Papa Pepper here with my lovely wife, appropriately named Mama Pepper. And we were tagged in a challenge from the Green Dream Project recently, which is the one that they were tagged in. Just talking about your 2018 homesteading goals and whether or not you accomplished them. So I guess I kind of more do things, I don't really think about things. Did we have any goals for this year?
Yes, we did.
What were they? And we just moved all our sheep and goats, so you'll hear them kind of shouting to each other across the property right now.
I think one of the biggest goals we had was just to be able to move down to our property and get our house situated, moved down as well. And
yeah, to get on our property was a goal that we had. We actually moved down 3 years ago from Wisconsin to the Ozarks. Bought this property about a year and a half ago now, huh?
I don't know, something like that.
And kind of been working on it while we were staying off site, and our goal was just to actually get moved down to this property. So we did that, and there's a lot of things involved with that. Do we have any other big goals?
That was one of our biggest ones. We had to prepare the land. Preparing the land took a long time.
Long time. Did a lot of it ourselves, and I'll give you guys a little bit of tour, and we'll do a walk and talk, kind of sharing some things with you guys.
You know, another one of our goals was putting up our fence, fencing up the property.
Yes.
We got most of it fenced up. Just have a small stretch to finish up.
Almost have 100% of the perimeter fence up. There's just one stretch left, which we'll cross off in 2019.
Yep.
We're going to get our gates up.
Yep, get our gates up, and then the other thing we wanted to do was get our garden set up, and I think we've got the raised beds pretty set up for the most part, a really good amount there.
We've got a good start, and the soil is incredible.
Focus on planting.
And we did all that this year,
varieties.
Right? There weren't any beds there when we started out. So the nice thing too is, you know, it's December 31st. My wife's got a hoodie on, but you know, I'm short sleeved right now, chilling outside. It's hour and a half till sundown probably. So with temperatures like that, it gives you a lot more time to do things in winter, but then during summer you've got to pretty much take siestas, because by the time it gets really hot, it's really hot. And you don't feel like working too much. There were so many times I have to change my shirt because it was completely drenched, and I was just, you know, pouring the sweat out of my body as I work. So you want to go for a walk?
That's about like 10:30
a.m. So I think a year ago we had this driveway done. It wasn't dumped yet, but we had a driveway, you know, a spot cut through the woods, and then it curved up to an open area for the house site. But then I had to clear areas like 3 or 4 more times as we adjusted our plans. But I remember watching a video from my birthday from December last year. And at that time I was taking out these 2 trees that are the big kind of stump holes behind me to get power. So all that happened, you know, after that. And one thing with bringing our power into the land is we didn't want to be intrusive, and we didn't want somebody reading a meter off of our house. So this here behind me is actually the only power poles that we have. There's this one, and then the next one is actually up off our property. And it only gets about 20 feet onto our property. This one here, it runs across this little pole here where it drops with the meter right there. And then we're gonna put a gate right behind it. So you can pull in, check the meter, and get on your way without really disturbing us. And then we've got this pasture and that pasture, and then we'll put a gate there so you can actually just circle around and turn in this whole thing. But there was, I think as far as fencing, the one the Shetland Fin sheep were in was the only fencing we actually had a year ago. And everything else around almost the entire property, like I said, I got a little bit more to go, is still to be done. And we still got, I got a nice row of rock pillars for the fencing here to do. But, to take this path out of just woods was a lot of work. My dad, Grandpa Pepper, helped for some of it. I used a stump grinder with a tractor. I used, oh man, I didn't even used to use a chainsaw before. So to actually do a lot of this, and we've got quite a supply of firewood in various places around the property. But we did all that, and this year I kind of learned a lot of that stuff too, as far as I think the backhoe attachment for the front end loader I'd used before and the other stuff, but got on a Mini X this year and some other things. And here, where our frontal ball cord is, this used to be solid woods too, but we needed somewhere to put a septic system, so dug some, well, no, we hired out some of that, but I prepared a lot of it, was involved in the process a lot, did a lot of things, and originally kind of only the area from where my truck is and over was cleared. None of this was cleared, and then none of that was cleared a year ago. So we got this cleared, brought in some extra ground too, dug it up, poured some concrete runners for the house. I'll get you guys off the sun there. Poured some concrete runners for the house, had the mobile home, moved here then too, which is, you know, a lot of work. And I had to, you know, clear this whole extra place for it because I had a spot cleared there, but we figured we'll leave the house side open, and then I cleared a spot over there thinking that might be a good idea, and then we changed our mind, and then we decided over here. So that all happened.
But you were thinking about putting it right here in the middle too. So.
Yeah. So, you know, it's interesting. And the good thing is when you get two people like me and Mama, we can kind of go back and forth and kind of, you reach an end point that you may not have on your own because you've got somebody else's perspective and cares and concerns and input and everything else to take into consideration. So the other thing too is like a year ago, pretty much from me back was all solid woods. It was solid, it was thick, it was so much poison ivy and greenbrier. So everything we did with our poultry pens was in this past year, and I still actually got to finish that. I put that on hold for the moment for a couple reasons. That's my root cellar and storm shelter build, but you know, that was this year. Quail pen was this year. Got our animals moved down to the land this year. That was new. This one was quite an ordeal to move down. It's a pretty big, heavy, awkward thing. But everything here, where these guys are, was just rough land, really raw. And got those buildings built this year. I'm not a builder. I'm just kind of learning. You can see there's some mulch landscaping. Let me show you this too. These large stepping stones. Okay, that's cool. Just. Yeah, pick those up in one of the streams just because they break off and they kind of get washed down to the lake and the heavy things, and we'll do that. Same thing here, got some more of it going on, but pretty much this whole section through here that I'm working on at the moment too is just thick and nasty and crazy. So it took some work. And behind us, we also got the a mini pond dug, nice little garden pond. I'll hope to finish that. And then behind me, this whole garden area has been a couple years in the works because we used to have some pigs fenced in over here, and then bluer than greens goats were down here for a bit too. But all these rocks that you see here have been moved here this year. So all of these raised beds, which is a lot of them, has been moved here. All this was this year. You know, that one's, I mean, compared to my hand, that thing is huge. Moved the hops down this year, built this gourd tunnel this year, all these guys. So this was just raw land not all that long ago, and now it's on its way to being a functioning garden. So when we start off this next year, it'll be a lot easier for us because of everything we've done. But I mean, even just to look around and, you know, in between everything else, I did all this year. I'm really happy with that. Really enjoy that. And I always like just taking a nice, you know, handful of that. It's just so rich. I love that soil. You can dig down, you know, 6 inches or more real easily. Look forward to growing next year. So in the end, we kind of just move at the speed of life, is the way I like to put it. We try to roll with the punches and not get hit too often. And we just kind of adjust as we're able to with living life and doing things. So we moved down to our land, and we know kind of some pieces of the big picture. We don't know the whole thing, but when we're able to cross things off and do stuff, we're happy about it. So I guess our main goals was just to get on our land this year and start. And got all our animals down here, got us down here, got the perimeter almost all the way fenced in, the garden started. Anything else?
think that was, for the most part, it.
It's a lot.
But yeah, getting that fencing up all the way done was probably another one big goal, but we just got that small stretch, so it's not too bad.
Right. So then before I close this too, I'm just going to tag Old Camp Ranch, Farmer G, and Sapper Gardner, and just tag them to see how they did this year as far as their goals and what they were looking at. So, all right, guys, check out those other channels. They should be putting them out soon. Green Dream Project, thanks for tagging us, and hopefully that gives you guys a little better insight into our life, what we got going on, and kind of where we're at in the midst of everything. Papa out.
I'm out.
As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.